gas-free breakfast. And then it's time to check out. On the road in Texas Hill Country. Andy is taking us on an adventure at a picnic area. I don't know why you went right back to the road. I thought you didn't like the road. Are you confused? I know. Went from hills to this. A lot of desert flatland. It'll be interesting to see what San Antonio looks like. We are at a Love's, and not only is that an awesome gas price at $2.49, but they have a dog park that is empty right now. So Andy's just sitting here. Not really happy to be here, but more happy than he was in the car. Huh, boy. I also found this bird right across the street from the rest stop. Can you say hi? Hi there. You want to go on a road trip with me? Looks like you want to be pet, but I'm also kind of scared of your big beak and these thorns. Right there. Nope, you don't want to be pet. Okay. Andy did a lot better in the car today. It was 8 hours and he was pretty calm for the most part, other than right before we stopped a couple times, right? You're even calm when I was checking in. That's so surprising. Anyway, I guess this is Andy's bed. So that might be my bed. I don't know yet. Got a little corner booth, I guess. Bathroom where the worms already are. And Andy's food. And then the rest of the bathroom. So welcome to Motel 6 San Antonio, downtown. Obviously not as nice of a hotel as the one we were at last night in in El Paso. But the advantage is we are within walking distance of downtown. Do you want to go downtown to Andy? Or you're going to stay here and hold down the fort? Okay, I'm going to go then. So my goal for this evening is to get a San Antonio puffy taco. I'm going to get one down by the Riverwalk, so I'm also going to explore that a little bit, although I do have more time tomorrow to explore. I also have tickets for the Alamo tomorrow. This is San Antonio's Lovelock Bridge over the Riverwalk. Got my puffy tacos. Ate all my chips while waiting. Yeah. Nice restaurant right on the Riverwalk. That's really good chicken.
I've got crispy grilled cheese, proper fish and chips.
So I know they always have rustic looking pictures of the Alamo, but this is the street that the Alamo's on. Incredibly touristy. The Alamo's right over there. Let's go. And here it is. Don't forget, remember.
Or you can just push it.
So I was just looking up ice cream places around here, and I'm extremely disappointed because there isn't a single place called Alamo a la mode. I think I need to move here and start that. That's my new life goal. It's a mall like back when malls were popular and still on steroids. This is kind of terrifying. I like this bridge better. And good morning, everybody. It's a little cloudy this morning, but I wanted to get an early start for when some things start opening up at 8 o'clock. So I want to pack today with as much San Antonio fun as possible. First stop today is the courthouse. Apparently they have a pretty good heritage center in there, which I found out by seeing this sign yesterday. So they open in a couple minutes. Let's go check it out. Well, that was a decent one for being a free museum. Now we're going to head to the Alamo, which is also free, and I expect that one to be even better. We're going to take the river walk again to get to the Alamo by way of this Lovelock Bridge. And now we're walking below the Lovelocks. My goodness, this is so much calmer of an area in the morning versus after dark. This place was packed and loud with lots of different music. Honestly, I kind of prefer it this way, where it's just joggers and people casually hanging out. Hey, guess what the official San Antonio bird is? Cranes! Got here a couple minutes before they open, so they're still doing some setup. Looks like some living history over there. I'm excited to go inside. This is the Alamo. It is kind of weird to see historical reenactments like this right next to a much more modern cityscape. I do have tickets to see this church. Looks like we have to go in the other way. Six Flags. So the inside of the church at the Alamo was pretty neat. It's free tickets too, so if you ever want to do San Antonio on a budget, definitely do that. I mean, who would not go to the Alamo if they're in San Antonio? There were some information. There was a video that was kind of cool and interactive, but most of it was just informational signs. It went over the history of course, the battles that happened at the Alamo. It also went over the history of the church being a church, actually. And it's something that I didn't realize was it was only in like 25 years ago that they started noticing the frescoes on the walls. So they've been doing some restoration to make it, to discover what it used to look like and make it look like the original church. People threw money in this well. Like, there's a dollar bill in there. How are we supposed to get it out? Well, I'm very glad I got to see the Alamo. I spent a little over an hour there. I didn't do any of the paid attractions though, so if you're planning on any of those, then plan to spend a little bit more time. Just seeing the inside of the church and the surrounding buildings and all the history panels that are with it. It's definitely a cool experience. Learn a lot. Like honestly, I don't remember learning about the Alamo at all in school. I mean, I learned the phrase "remember the Alamo," learned a little bit about Davy Crockett, but that just might have been from outside of school. I know my sister learned about the Alamo more than I did because she was in a play where she played Davy Crockett. Anyways, so while that was fun, and I still have a lot of the morning and the entire afternoon and evening left here in San Antonio, I am going to head back to the Riverwalk because I signed up for a timeshare presentation, which I've never done before, but they had some enticing gifts that will make my time in San Antonio worthwhile, and they promised it would only be a 90-minute presentation, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, that is over now. Getting rid of this. And now I'm going to use the gift cards that I got and enjoy San Antonio to the fullest. To go to Rainforest Cafe because I got a $75 gift card thanks to the presentation. I also got a ticket to take a riverboat tour and a ticket for the trolley tour. So that's going to be our afternoon. This is the only multi-story Rainforest Cafe, fun fact.
I hope you're all paying attention. There will be a test. The city of San Antonio was originally founded in 1718 as part of New Spain, or Nueva España. Spain built a series of what they called missions all over the area that would become Mexico and Texas. These missions were big church forces in charge of the Texian army soldiers, trained soldiers at the Alamo. Real quick on your left, you'll also see hopscotch, which is an interactive art gallery here. I don't want to spoil too much of what you'll see, but it's very good for the Pearl. The Pearl is a on your left, and St. Sophia's Greek Orthodox on your right.
This is the Japanese tea garden. It's reminding me a lot of the Balboa Park Japanese garden in San Diego. This is actually part of a much bigger park that's kind of on the outskirts of town, at least outside of downtown. We're gonna head back into the Japanese garden because there is more to see. The Japanese tea garden is free, by the way. It is a little bit outside of town, but there is parking, so you can drive here if you have a car or would like to drive out here. I didn't really want to drive out here, and I didn't want to walk either, so I'm using this as a stop on my trolley tour. The trolley tour is pretty pricey, except when you go to a timeshare presentation, and then it's free. So my last driver said that it was called the Chinese Tea Garden during World War II, and they never changed the sign back. So while I'm waiting for my next trolley to arrive, I wanted to explain what Old Town Trolley Tours even was. It is a chain. They're in several different cities across the country. I have been to the one in San Diego before, and now I'm doing the one in San Antonio. By the way, this is not sponsored at all. The one in San Diego, they had a special for county residents. That's why I took advantage of that one. And today I'm doing it thanks to the timeshare giveaway thing. So I'm not affiliated with Old Town Trolley Tours at all. It is kind of cool because you get to meet up at different points around the city. So whatever's most convenient for you, you get on. And then the driver is also the tour guide. He gives lots of information about what you are crossing paths with, and then stops in several places across the city. So you can choose to get off at any of those stops that you want, and then wait for the next trolley or a couple of trolleys to get back on. And it looks like mine is arriving right now. So let's take a pause on this. This is the botanical garden. I'm just passing through.
The Japanese tea garden all around Brackenridge Park, known as the Grotto Sculpture. Visit the grotto at night and stand on the opposite bank of the river. You're going to see all kinds of faces and figures on the walls of the grotto. As we approach, on the near side has a memorial to the Korean War veterans. On the far side, after the Johnsons were married at St. Mark's, they took a walk across Travis Park on the right-hand side. Texan settlers here and
There's my hotel.
government of Mexico.
So I enjoyed my trolley tour. There were a few downsides, of course. One of the first downsides I noticed was I really liked the first guide I had on my first trolley, but I really wanted to go to the Japanese tea garden, which meant that I wouldn't be able to see or hear from the first guide anymore. So that was a kind of a bummer, but this second guide was good as well. Another thing is that you do feel a little bit pressed for time, especially I'm doing it in the afternoon, so towards the end of the day, you know, you can't get off on a stop that's far away from where you started, because then you'll have to find your own transportation back. So maybe some people would be okay with that, but I mean, I paid for this as a form of transportation. Well, I didn't pay for it, but I used it as a form of transportation instead of paying for transportation. But now we're going to do a different type of transportation. We are going to take the river boats. They are right over there. I can point.
To us by Portugal for the Hemisphere World Fair in 1968, and we placed him there. Fish in the San Antonio River, but it's catch and release for 13 of those 14 different types of fish. Now over here to our right-hand side, we're going to point out is the church. Move forward to our right-hand side at street level. We're going to see an orange sculpture come into view. There it is right there. That is a torch of friendship. It represents the friendship from Mexico to America. Now, people say we don't get along. Yes, we do. Let me explain it to you. You say they get taxed. People have been going to those churches for 50, 60, 70 years. Now, we do have an internet society. They watch over the 7 great wonders of the world, Leaning Tower, Pisa, Taj Mahal, all that. Believe it or not, our missions are now under registry. They watch over our missions now. Walked along the river. We have total control. Now, please do the bridge in front of us right there. See it? 100 people in there. Mr. Calls that movie. What happened is it used to be known as Hugman's Bridge, but in 1990, she sat right here in the center, facing that way. Sat right there in the center, facing that way. Over to our left-hand side is the La Mancion. The bark of the trees is coming. You see it coming up right now. There we go, coming into view. Great photo right there. You get the trees and the Tower of the Americas.
Well, that was fun, but now I have to use my legs again and walk back to my, I guess, I'll get dinner and then go to my hotel. How about that? It was 5.5 years between my first Whataburger and my second, so we're not gonna let that happen again. Unless this is the line, then maybe we will. I didn't know this existed until the trolley tour took us by it, and it's right next to my hotel. Alright, I decided to have food back in my room because I miss little Andy boy, so we're gonna eat dinner together because he didn't eat the entire time I was gone today. I don't know why. So I've got this, but that wasn't all that was in the meal, so I'm gonna have lots of leftovers for the road trip tomorrow. One more outing for the day. Looks like some of the buildings have light shows. We're gonna go to an even cooler one. Come join me. This is what the church looks like right now. Let's see what it looks like in a few minutes. Well, I know you're seeing this from the future, but this is Valentine's Eve and everything pretty much is about Valentine's. I guess it's popular to get married here at midnight tonight.
Yeah, that is our job. To be like very detailed, like yeah, it's like no reaction. A half-hour episode of a fever dream of all the history and culture of San Antonio. Now I'm gonna head back home for real. Well, back to the motel. So it turns out that San Antonio is a pretty affordable trip. I did it on an incredibly low budget. I think it was even a $0 budget if you don't count the cost of getting here. It's because I went to that timeshare presentation. That covered the cost of the trolley tour and the riverboat tour, and they also gave me a $75 gift card to use for whatever I wanted, so that more than covered the cost of the 3 sit-down dinners I bought here. What else? The Alamo was free. There were some paid attractions, but the main attractions were free, and I didn't really have a desire to go see the paid attractions. The river walk, just walking along there, was free. In fact, that's how I found out about the timeshare presentation, because I was walking along the river walk, so I guess that made me money. And I'm staying in the cheapest motel in downtown that allows pets, Motel 6. And even that was technically free because I was using my rewards from hotels.com to cover that. So yeah, I think that was just about everything. Oh, the museum that I went to this morning at the courthouse is free. And the event I just went to with the display on the church, that was also free. So yeah, there's a lot you can do on a $0 budget in San Antonio.
Good morning, Anderson. Excited to move? I wasn't a big fan of this room, I think because it was noisier. Our last hotel we stayed at in El Paso was a Hampton, so it did have thicker walls than a Motel 6. And it was a little bit bougier, and I guess he's a bougie cat. Aren't you? Anyways, I am checking out this morning. I'm just gonna go on a quick walk. Oh, don't tell Andy that we're checking out this morning because that means we're back on the CAR. I don't think he heard. Okay, I'm gonna go for a quick walk to the church after dropping this backpack off in my car so we don't move everything all together, because that also freaks Andy out a little bit. When we were moving out of El Paso, he hid under my friend's bed and it took forever to get him out, didn't it, Andy? But we're gonna do one more tourist thing in San Antonio before we leave. Last time observing all the San Antonio road construction. And also it's sprinkling right now. So I've seen this church several times from the outside on this trip in the past couple days, especially last night when we had the projections on it. But now let's see what it looks like inside. The heroes of the Alamo were buried right here. Well, that was fun. I'm glad I got to see inside a church. I usually do like to see inside churches while I travel because it usually is free, first off, and it gives a lot of insight and history. I mean, where else can you see the burial site of Davy Crockett? For real. But now it is time to move on, not just moving on from the church here, but moving on from San Antonio as a whole. We're not quite done with Texas yet though, so let's go back and finish packing the car and we'll hit the road. So I am at one of the missions, Mission San Juan in San Antonio, and Andy is back there. He gets to join us on this adventure today.
So my boss, before she retired, that was her position when I came here, so that's why I know about it. And like our division, so the chief of information, he's no longer here, like he's, so he was one of, on his retiring, that means, we have.
All right, welcome to Mission San Juan. So we're gonna explore the grounds, maybe let Andy out for a little bit. He's allowed on a leash here, but he's not allowed inside the building, so I probably won't go inside the mission unless it's quiet over there, and I might leave him outside for a few seconds, like I did for the visitor center. Roof cactus, that's a first. They seem to have a lot of these ovens lining the border wall. Like we just walked along that line and there's another. Standing in the doorway, so I technically don't have a pet inside, and I also technically am not leaving him unattended. I believe over here's the river walk, like more of it. I'm surprised how quiet Andy's being. He's just chilling back there. Kind of cool that this morning we got to see an active church, and now I get to see one of the original churches of the area. Can you imagine if these were brightly colored like they were originally and the whole church was covered in them? Oh wow, I guess they still have mass here. Oh, sorry. What you gonna do? Wanna explore? And surprisingly, he's preferring his backpack for once. Well, that was a fun stop to start off a road trip day. Andy made a few friends along the way, like the people back there, and then another family. So he's definitely a conversation piece when he's being carried around back here. Want to say hi, Andy? No, you don't. Okay. Anyways, we're actually going to hit the road now and leave the San Antonio area altogether. We've got one tourist stop along the way that Andy's also going to join me for. I'm glad he's feeling happy right now, or at least, not complaining, because he's going to join me for the next stop.